Well, hello, Marjorie. I am actually going to be giving you a preview here of your presentation. Now, again, we're still in rough format, but I want to give you an idea about how the transitions are going to work. You've got 6 slides, essentially. Each of your 6 slides is going to have this format, like a sketchbook. It's going to be labeled day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, 5, and 6. On each of the days, you're going to have these things called hot buttons. You can choose which ones you wish to push at any point, and you can move from page to page very easily, okay? So I'm just going to show you very quickly. This is day 1. You've got some maps and things up here. You've got your plane coming in. You've got your people-to-people logo. Got this lovely, letter of resignation that you've already made out to Dr. Melton. And you are going to start on day 1. And the moment that you touch any of these little red buttons, it's going to take you to that portion that has the information about what it says. So, for example, we're going to start with your flight. When I hover over the button, and what I mean by hover is, I'm going to hover over the globe up here. This is hovering, okay, in the center of the globe. When you hover over that red button, it's going to move to the next slide. Now, when we move to the next slide, it's going to talk about your flight. Now, when we do that, you're going to see that the hover, there we go. It's going to take you to this screen, okay, which really looks awful right now because all I have on is one picture. But we're going to gussy this up and we'll put information on here about your particular flight. When you finish talking about the flight, you simply come up here to the back button. Again, you hover, and it takes you back here, okay? This one is going to take you to the airport, and this one here is going to take you to lunch. Now, I have finished the lunch one, so let's go look at that one. There we go. There's your restaurant, little sign for your restaurant. Talks about the cuisine. And it tells the name of the restaurant. You do most of the talking. If you want to add anything else to the slide, we can do that, certainly. When you're finished, you go back. Then the last thing for day 1 is going to be this slide here, which is this guy's, huge art project, the famous artist. Again, when I hover, it's going to take me there. Nothing on the page yet because I'm still working on putting the pictures on. But in any event, you're finished with day 1. You can certainly go back if you want, or we move on to the next day. So let's move on, hover. Here's day 2. Now, fortunately, most of day 2 is finished. So let's take a look. It says day 2 begins at the plaza. You talk about the plaza. These are your photographs. Again, it's not going to hurt if you touch anything on the page. The only thing that's going to happen is if you touch the red buttons. Oops, excuse me. Here I go. I said nothing's going to happen. I clicked. So let's start over again on that. Nothing that you are going to do during your presentation is going to cause anything to move unless you touch one of these buttons, okay? So day 2 begins at the plaza. You've talked about that. Then you go to Old Havana. Hover, takes you to Old Havana. These are your pictures, your photographs. This is a public domain image of an old, antiquated Old Havana map. Talk all you want. We can add stuff to the slide. We can take stuff off. It's entirely up to you. When you're finished, simply hover and you go back. Next stop after Old Havana is architecture. So again, hover, takes you to the real cute guy that was your guide. And then you talk about the architecture. This is where I'm sure you're going to go into all that Baroque and colonialism and whatever else you want to talk about, which is fine. So again, you can't hurt anything by touching anything on the page. You can even pat him on the head if you want. When you're finished, go back, just hover, and it takes you right back. Okay, so in the next spot, you talk about the Plaza de Arms. Again, hover. Here you are. Don't laugh at the pigeons. If you don't like them, we can take them off. Not a problem. But right now, the only thing I have in your photo archive is one picture. It's not particularly wide angle, so I don't really get a whole big view. So again, this is a public domain image, which is completely legal to put on here, but you can take it off if you want. And we can certainly put more information on here. When you're finished talking, go back. And then the last place, which I'm sure was your favorite part of day 2 because jet lag had set in by now, was the nightclub. So let's go there. Just hover, takes you there. Okay, so you can talk about it. If you don't like the cute little thing up here, we can get rid of it. It's entirely up to you. But anyway, you talk. You talk about the people that are there, the famous people that have been there before, and what people are doing. Okay, so now that you're on this slide, you've got the option to go back to the previous day, which was back to day 2, or you could go back to day 2 and back to day 1. But instead, let's just keep going to day 3. So just hover, takes you to day 3. Okay, I'm going to be ending your presentation here very quickly because I don't have a lot of time on the movies. But anyway, you're on day 3. This is where you start, which was at the senior facility. Then you'll go to ICAP and then you'll go to the Communities for the Defense of the Revolution. Right now I can touch these red buttons because I haven't made the pages yet, so it's not going to link to those particular pages. Okay, so just to show you how it goes, let's go back to day 2. Let's go back to day 1, and here's day 1. Okay, so you can move forwards and backwards using these little red buttons. I can put in any other buttons you want. I can take buttons out. I can put artwork in. I can take artwork out. That's entirely up to you. I'm going to keep recording and see how long I can do this. I just want to go through these buttons one more time just to show you. Okay, so pretend you're starting all over again. Ready, set, go. Hello, everybody. This is what I'm going to talk about. These cute little pictures, my trip, who funded it, blah, blah, blah. Day 1, I go to my flight. Ugly little slide right now, but we'll fix it up. You're going to talk. When you're finished, back up. Go to the airport. That one's not active yet, but you'll go to the airport and then you'll come back. That's where your cute little plane picture is. Then you go to lunch, eat, you probably drink. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Anyway, you come back. Then you go to the nightclub. Okay, so the nightclub images are here. I think. No, it wasn't the nightclub. No, I'm sorry. That's the Fuster Project. Anyway, on to the next day. I was like, yeah, drinking twice in one day, not good. Okay, so day 2, you start at the plaza. You're visiting Old Havana first. After you finish talking about it, you back up. You go to the architecture, talk about it, back up. Plaza de Arms, talk about it, back up. Superintendent raises his hand and goes, hang on a second, Margie, I hate to interrupt you, but go back to that Old Havana slide, okay? Well, you can certainly do that. Just, there you go. See, there's Havana. Okay, and you say, thank you, Dr. Milton, but I'm going to keep right on talking. Go to the plaza, come back. Now you end up at the nightclub. And when you finish at the nightclub, we move on to day 3, or somebody interrupts and they want to go back to day 2. Let's go to 3. Okay, so there's 3. Talk about day 3, the senior facility, and then I'm going to take you there, the ICAP, and then I'm going to take you there for the Defense of the Revolution. Okay, so real easy little buttons. They just kind of hover, and you don't have to do any clicking. And if you get lost, we can work out something that'll help you figure out where you are. Okay, so that's it for now, and I'm going to figure out how to turn this thing off so I can send you this movie. Kiss, kiss. I can go here.